63, hopefully, in yellow from 4. And the 21 of Jason Gromble in green from the extreme outside. That is the lineup. Solo C-grade scratch, heat number 1. Racing will be over 3 laps. Starters now having a good look at the field. They're about to walk away and send these riders on their way as they blast into turn number 1. A pretty good start from Jason Gromble. In fact, looks as though he's going to go right around the outside and come out in the lead. So an excellent piece of riding. Robert Miller is tucked into second position. You can see that for yourselves in the red helmet colours. Coming around Speedway City turn and blasting down the main stretch for the first time. It's Jason Gromble out in front. Kicks the back end out. Hugs the pole line coming out of turn number 2. Of course, that is the shortest way around, and we've had a fall coming out of the second turn. Looks as though it may have been the blue of Damien James that has come a cropper. Looks to be all right. There's now 1 lap remaining for Jason Gromble. Hot on his heels, Robert Miller in the red. And we look back to Jared Priest, number 63, being closely followed by Shannon Wern. They really have spread themselves out here, but it'll be a confidence-boosting performance here as Jason Gromble comes around to accept the checkered flag from Scott McIntosh. A good ride in the end. Of course, we'll wait for the officials to give us confirmation of those results. That was the opening event tonight, event number 2. We'll go through the lineup as the officials concur about those results. Number 96, Craig Hodson in red from 1. The Swedish number 1, Eunice Kilmacorpy. Swedish 1, Eunice Kilmacorpy in the blue from 2. The 11 of Nigel Sadler in white from 3. 23, Brett Woodfield in yellow from 4. And the South Australian champ, Ryan Sullivan in green from 5. So an excellent lineup. Those results from event number 1, 21, 13 and 63 in the top. Sullivan lining himself up for the big hole shot. He'll be looking to cut across to at least mid-track. Takes fly up. Here they go. Woody has begun well, but it's Hodson on the inside. Sullivan lets it hang out, but it's Woodfield that gets the run. Brilliant bit of drive. Mid-track comes across and says, turn number 3 is mine, boys. You can do what you like. Sullivan now rounds up Hodson. The pair of them run handlebar to handlebar. An excellent battle this. You're seeing some tremendous bike riding. Hodson gets hooked up. Sullivan storms up the inside of him, and now we'll hone in on Woody, I should say, as they blast off 4. Now down the main stretch. Can Woody get there? Sullivan now flies up the inside. Have a look at this for a pass. Unbelievable stuff. Gets great drive, and now we'll cruise out of turn number 4 to the checkered flag. What a ride this has been in event number 2 from Ryan Sullivan. Brett Woodfield in for second. Craig Hodson for third from Nigel Sadler. And Eunice Kilmacorpy, unfortunately, not able to run with the pace setters. Let's see what happens here. All 4 fairly competent. Racing underway. Olsen looking good in the red helmet colours. Watson will look to do a number on him out of the second turn. Watson tries leaning on him, and it looks as though Ford Keane is going to make it a 3-way contest. This is tight coming out of turn number 4, but it's Kenny Olsen, the Swedish rider, who now emerges. Keane will slide up the inside, and I mean that literally, on Watson. Troy Stojakovic just dropping back a tad, not able to run with these leading 3 competitors as they gas it out of the 4th turn to acknowledge that there is 1 lap remaining. The red of Kenny Olsen reigning supreme to this point. Out of 2 and down the back stretch. The chase is on. Ford Keane giving it everything and closing in, only a few bike lengths in it. Then it's Ashley Watson as the checkered flag falls. I can't see there being any problems with that. As the field comes through, of course, tailed out by Troy Stojakovic in the yellow, breastplate 17. Revs are about to come up. We'll be underway. That's what happens. Hardy and Rudloff have made the best of that start. I hear there was just a little bit of action last weekend up at the bridge in the National Championship. Unfortunately, quite a few competitors have ended up in hospital, nursing many an injury, but it's a tough sport, that's for sure. four-cylinder Hurricanes. The passengers are brave men, so too are the riders, and it takes a lot of skill and then a lot of teamwork indeed to pilot one of these things successfully around a Speedway oval. In turn number 3 at the moment, Jason Hardy and Shane Rudloff in the blue, looking good. Lighting up the rear tyre. They've got one remaining. Bit of pressure now beginning to come from Parker and Joppin. They make their way through turns 1 and 2. Giving it lots of gas down the backstretch. Flying past the Sprint Auto Parts sign on the concrete wall. Full lock. In fact, our leaders very nearly turn it right around as the checkered flag falls. Hardy and Rudloff sample the win over Parker and Joppin. And behind them, Wiles and Egan in the red. That was Sidecar Scratch heat number 1. All teams now moving into position. Sidecar Scratch heat number 2 about to blast off into turn number 1. That's what happens. Oh, gun start from Irwin and McGrath. This will be a big test for Munro, and we think Edwards as they come out of the second corner. Irwin gets very loose indeed. Munro roars up alongside, but has the gate shut in his face defiantly by Jimmy Irwin and Sean McGrath, who once again light it up out of turn number 4. In through turns 1 and 2 they go once again, as we see Irwin and McGrath getting fairly wide out of the second corner. Munro giving it everything here as we look beyond that. We can see Dakin and Ryan holding on in third position. And we've got Collins and Carpenter currently rounding it out. Our leader very close to the concrete indeed. We know Jimmy Irwin with lots of ability, lots of credentials. And he loves to let it all hang out and run wide open around this Speedway City 430 metre circuit. He has unofficially taken it out over the Munro combination. So we look behind them, Dakin and Ryan over Collins and Carpenter. Racing in a bit number 6 is Jason Gromble, who has grabbed the big hole shot, accelerates out of the second corner. A couple of non-starters in this one, but I noticed that Robert Miller is a definite starter in green. Should be bearing breastplate number 13. I'd say Gromble probably should win this quite easily. He's got his confidence up now. We can see the 63 of Jared Priest there as well. We're going to need to be Einstein to work out that James and Wern look to be the two that aren't out there at the moment. Gromble's not worried. Not worried who's out there. Worried about taking the checkered flag and grabbing 2 wins from as many starts. Runs in mid-track in turn number 1. He's putting all the weight over on the right leg as he makes his way down the back chute into turn number 3, keeping it down on the pole line, hugging the gutter and gassing it past the strike. I reckon he can just about etch those in now. Jason Gromble did pretty well. Robert Miller aboard 13 in the 63 of Jared Priest in the blue. Who will get the start this time? That's the question. Heat number 3, blast off. Hodson has begun pretty well. So is Kilmacorpy. He's there, and somebody's trying to blast around the outside. I think it's Sadler. 3 and 4 wide down the back. Looks as though Sullivan has attempted a screamer in turn number 3 in the blue helmet colours, and he'll try and go on with it. Up the inside of Craig Hodson. Says, eat my dust, pal. I'm through. Perhaps he's out for some sweet revenge this evening. Couldn't quite do it in the Golden Helmet Series event, and struggled, we think, with a tyre that either went down or wrong tyre selection at the Speedway City Championship. Woodfield going pretty well in the white. Certainly keeping Craig Hodson honest. Here behind them we got Nigel Sadler in the red of Eunice Kilmacorpy, now beginning to slip back a little bit. But as he comes around, he's on a bit of a mission this evening. Brian Sullivan cruises through for another win over Craig Hodson, Brett Woodfield, Nigel Sadler and Eunice Kilmacorpy. He'll round up the red of Ford Keen quite comprehensively. Now down the back we can see that Troy Stojakovic has encountered 1 or 2 problems. I don't know if it's bike related or vision related, but it is our leader, Kenny Olsen, the Swedish number 3 that's out in front. Ford Keen number 45. I thought rode particularly well here last time out at the Speedway City Championship. And Ashley Watson currently rounds out the 3. More moisture in the circuit, some H2O was applied in case you were down at the souvenir shop or the canteens. Grabbing yourself a bite to eat. Put some water down, everything looks okay now. certainly to the liking of Kenny Olsen. Yellow Kenny works his way out of turn number 4. We'll fly past the administration building without any further ado, and we'll take it out over Ford Keane, Ashley Watson, and it looks as though Troy will fail to finish. In fact, he's heading back into the pits already. I know Wendy Turner and Bob Sincock are trying very hard indeed to get the bikes, the sedans and the open wheelers on the same program, give everybody a taste of Speedway throughout all of the divisions on almost every single night. And it's good to see the numbers are beginning to increase in the solos and in the sidecars as well. A couple of teams that we haven't seen for a little while coming out for a run. It's good news. E3 comes around, lap number 1 now complete. Parker and Choppin looking good at the moment, the number 55 team, as they exit turn number 2 and gas their way down the back. Wiles and Egan in the yellow currently are in second. And then we look back to Hardy and Rudloff, who tail out the pack. But just watch the passengers very carefully. If you haven't seen much sidecar racing, you'll see that they are such a pivotal part of it. A good passenger really can make the difference. Talk to any of the riders in the pits and I'll tell you that. It's interesting to listen to the likes of the O'Brien boys. Now, one brother will say he wouldn't be there without the other, and all of these riders will say the same thing about their passengers. And Parker and Choppin have come through. That was a good performance from them. Did it quite easily over Wiles and Egan, and Hardy and Rudloff rounded out the 3. For a good jump from starting spot number 2. We are racing. They do just that, gaining the whole shot. Collins and Carpenter will be looking to go with them, but it's Irwin and McGrath who emerge around the outside. Dakin and Ryan currently at the tail of the pack as Munro scoots in through turn number 3. Track looking superb for these outfits now. Amazing what a little bit of water will do. Back into turn number 1. Rick Munro and Shane Edwards looking very good indeed out in front. As they work now into the 3rd corner. Irwin and McGrath struggling to go with them. Perhaps a slight change in the setup, or maybe even the tuning. Perhaps both from Munro. Loves his racing. It's been hard for him. Lack of support has kept him off the chair for the last couple of years, but it sure is great to see him back out there as he powers his way out of the final turn. Here's the checkered flag. A good ride for AP Cox and company. A fast finishing Jimmy Irwin and Sean McGrath for second. And it was Dakin and Ryan in the end over Collins and Carpenter in the red. Looks as though Sadler in the red is a non-starter in this one. I think the gate is already shut, which gives Craig Hodson the inside line, although he is wearing the white helmet colours. I'm sure he'll be happy about that. We're ready to ignite these pumped up riders into action. That's what happens. Sullivan gets the jump. Superb start around the outside. It looks as though Kilmacorpy's getting a big run at them. Hodson's been dropped back to 3rd, and Woody currently rounds it out, although he fights back. An outside pass on Craig Hodson. Good going. Craig Hodson just struggling. Not sure if it's tyre related. Maybe he's got a tired engine on board. Who knows? But not showing the same kind of speed that we've become accustomed to around Speedway City. Mind you, Sullivan on fire this evening, 16.60. He pitches the motorcycle in through turns 1 and 2, gasses it down the back. I'm sure he'll be looking to continue his unbeaten run. Checkered flag comes out. Flying Ryan takes another one. Eunice Kilmacorpy did well for 2nd position unofficially, Woody for 3rd, and Craig Hodson for very disappointing 4th position. To the starting area. Remember, if you touch the tapes, it is an automatic disqualification. You're out of business. Away we go, Watson looking good, Stojakovic. Let's hope he sorted his problems out in through turns 1 and 2. Around the outside, Ford Keane goes for a gung-ho manoeuvre and makes it. Gets down now to the pole line, drifts it out of the final corner. Excellent stuff from Flying Ford as he works in through turn number 1. He's got Kenny Olsen nipping at his wheels and getting great drive out of the 2nd turn. Olsen now is set to give him a big serve coming out of 4, past the pit stand and down the main stretch. Good solo action coming to you at Speedway City. Olsen sitting right on him. He's in the slipstream. Looks for a good run. You can see him positioning his body. Ford Keen, a model of consistency at the moment. He'll need to keep it down tight. Olsen comes at him down to the wire. He gets there. What a finish. Ford Keen outgunned over the finishing line. Give the Swedish competitor a hand, folks. That was a great ride. Down the back chute. Please put them together. Top stuff indeed. Was engrossed in that battle for the first and second positions, but I think it was Watson who did get up for third over Stojakovic on 17. Olsen, the Swedish 2 with 3 on his back. Ryan Sullivan, Craig Hodgson, Brett Woodfield and Ford Keen. The solo feature over 4 laps, event number 14 on the program. Looks as though Woody will be in the red. See Ryan down there in the white. The blue of Kenny Olsen coming out. A little bit of extra time here, of course. Another lap is added for this feature event. Everything looks good. Who's going to win the start? That's the question. From the extreme outside, the 3 of Olsen will look to do a big runner, but it's Sullivan. Sullivan will lead them out of turn number 2. Craig Hodgson's bike has died on the starting line. Perhaps that sums up his night. Really has been a shocker. But down the main chute, it is Ryan Sullivan looking extremely good at the moment. Brett Woodfield, he's in second position as they work down the back. In through turns 3 and 4 and down the main stretch. The Swedish rider. At the moment, the 3 of Kenny Olsen looks as though he's hanging on in the top 3 position. Then it's Ford Keen. Then we would look back possibly to Eunice Kilmacorpy looking for the big run around the outside. There's 1 lap now remaining, 16.67 seconds. Oh, Eunice Kilmacorpy does the job around the outside of Ford Keen. Let's see whether Ford can manage to fight back in turn 3 region. One thing's for sure, folks, Ryan Sullivan will do it unbeaten throughout the night. Well done, Ryan. Woody for second. Over Kenny Olsen for position number 3 from his Swedish compatriot Eunice Kilmacorpy and Ford Keen to round it out. And a disappointed Craig Hodgson. It looks as though he may have spat a chain. Dakin and Ryan should be coming out in the yellow. Yeah, that is the case. So we got the lineup. Munro and Edwards, the last to come in. The 4-lap screamer, Sidecar feature to come your way. Clutches dumped. Munro and Edwards have begun well, but so have Hardy and Rudloff, and Irwin and McGrath boxed in a little bit at the moment. Here's their opportunity as they roar up the inside of Hardy and Rudloff. We can see the team in white, Parker and Chop, and we're having a bit of a go at Hardy as they come out of turn number 4, and in fact I think we'll get through into third as they negotiate turn number 1. That's a good battle and a continuing one. As we look back now to the team that's out in front, Ray Peacocks and company, Munro and Edwards running a little wide, Irwin and McGrath. They've got a sniff of victory here, and this will be a big finale, I assure you. Irwin, a very gritty campaigner, will not like the side of Munro and Edwards, hosing him and his passenger down the back. He closes in. Rick hugs a slightly tighter line, now runs it wide out of turn 4. The wrist twisted almost right around to the stop down the main stretch, but Irwin and McGrath do not appear to have enough. It's wide open racing. Rick Munro and Shane Eddie Edwards will fly back into victory lane. Great performance from them. Irwin and McGrath for second. And the wide of Parker and Chop and follow them from Hardy and Rudloff. And it'll leave us with Colin Dakin and Karen Ryan to round out the field. We are ready to go green. Dud Lambert on the front. Peter Boehm actually lining up out of position number 2. And we have got the start. Dud Lambert, out comes Peter Boehm. I'm not sure if he was aware they were ready to go green. He looks for the inside. Adam Baines will squirt straight around the outside of him. That's what happens as Boehm now tries to come back at him. Kipling currently is there in position number 4, and it's pole line stuff at this stage as they gas their way past the strike. Kipling now gets to the inside of Peter Boehm. The pair of them run wheel to wheel and down into turn number 3. It is Dud Lambert doing a superb job, holding down the pole line and making it pretty tough for Adam Baines to pass him. I reckon Bainesy surely would look to get up on about the mid-track line and cruise around the outside of Dud as they work into turn number 3. I think that's what he's about to do now. Sitting right on the rear nerf bar as they exit 4. You'll want to get a wriggle on because Brett Kipling appears to have the old Scat percolating pretty well, the V4 Scat engine, as they make their way down the back and now into turn number 3. So it is a three-way tussle. I thought it was going to be only a two-way fight between Adam Baines and Brett Kipling, but Dud Lambert really is doing a magnificent job. Kipling now moves up on the inside of Adam Baines as they stand on it down the back. This time Adam goes in a little deeper, just testing the track, not game to get up high. Perhaps he feels it's too greasy. There's the white flag. Adam blasts into the lead. Brett Kipling moves up alongside Dud, but Dud says, no, I'm not finished with yet, pal. If you're going to pass me, do it the hard way around the outside. Brett says, okay, don't mind if I do, as the checkered flag comes out. Adam Baines victorious. Brett Kipling getting back into some good form second. Dud Lambert for third over Peter Bowen and Bill Hang. A start is imminent here. We're going well, a little ahead of schedule at Speedway City this evening. We're underway, and it's Gardner, as you would expect, in the Cortina that jumps away. The 12 of Darren Flappman fairly high on the racetrack, showing that it isn't all that greasy up there, but the caution lights are on. Might wonder what's happening there. Generally, if the stewards feel that somebody may have infringed in the starting procedure, they'll hang the caution lights out when the field are on the back straight. They won't flash a red or hang the caution out whilst the drivers are on their way through turns 1 and 2. Flag, which means that basically the guy who's infringed is racing under protest or has booked himself a chat with the stewards afterwards. Look as though it went out to Gardner. Darren Flappman has begun well once again. He's looking for an outside pass on the 4 of Craven. Not sure if he's going to make it. Andrew Clayton looking for a big outside run as well. He's got the 44 of Darren Jobe. In fact, a lot of congestion. Almost in fighter pilot formation coming out of 4. It's rough stuff. The Mildura 44 of Darren Jobe looks as though he's going to emerge in position number 4 as they come out of 2. The 66 of Barry Edwards will look to pass Jobe in turn number 3, and that does occur. Here comes our race leader. Former odd crash repairs. It's the Australia one of David Gardner. The Panola Base Flyer gasses it out of the second corner. And the 83 of Gregory Goodfellow sounding very unimpressive as he heads to the infield. Gardner cruises by again. There's Darren Flappman. Edwards appears to be the big mover. The SA66 from Oval Thruway Service Stations and Affordable Auto Dismantlers. Edwards now was roared up to position number 3 on the racetrack. Meanwhile, back at the ranch and back at the head of the field, Gardner looking good. Letting the Cortina hang out in through the turns. You can see he is exhibiting, we'll wrap the tongue around it shortly, great car control. And almost overdid it there. Nearly put the old Murray Walker Mosses on him as he comes out of the final corner and flies down the main chute. Darren Flappman, meanwhile, has lost some composure as well. Let's hope he can regain it quickly, because if he doesn't, Barry Edwards driving the SA66 Cortina, I'm sure will be looking to fly past the Commodore at a fair rate of knots. Craven still runs in 4th. I'll try and get the rest of the field for you. There's a pass in 3. It's Andrew Clayton moving up on Aaron Cave. There's the Mildura 44 of Darren Jobe. The 24 coming past as well. Might have even been the 74 of Daniel Brumfield. In fact, it's probably Dave McEwen, Murray Bridge 44. I do apologise. There's a couple of 44s out there. But with 3 laps remaining, looks as though our race leader certainly is dropping back into the clutches of Darren Flappman. He can see the Oz champ there in front of him. and he can sense victory. He's got the home track advantage. They are coming up to some slower competitors, and I think the 52 of Garth Raymond is going to be the first. No, in fact, the 44 of David McEwen, I think, has already been lapped. He had an excursion off on the infield. So around they come. Down on the pole line, it's David Gartner, Todd's Auto Salvage, and a heap of other sponsors. There's Darren Flappman, Barry Edwards. I'll try and pick up the fourth place driver for you. I'd say it's still Chris Craven over the Mildura 44 of Darren Jobe. And in behind them, car number 74, which is the Murray Bridge entry of Daniel Brumfield. But there's the checkered flag, folks. The Aussie one, David Gartner, showing exactly why he's got that number 1 on the roof. Darren Flappman, I feel, really did go well. Acquitted himself nicely in the first heat. And Barry Edwards, one of the movers. Look at this, started out of 10. Barry Edwards started out of 10 to gain an unofficial third placing. That was excellent stuff from him. But he'll be there next weekend, I'm sure, for his sponsors Castrol and Gabriel Schock. We're underway. The green has waved. It's the Street Stock SA Championship coming your way at Speedway City this evening. And the 5 of Sam Brumfield from Murray Bridge has rocketed away from the pack. What a big lead. The Cortina is very popular in street stock competition, running first and second. The 26 of Alan Matthews continues to fly the flag for the Ford fans. Down the back and into 3, first of the Commodore Brigade. It's the 41 driven by Brian Chadwick tonight. And in behind them it's Mark Biaggi in the old Charger. Next is Schwartzy in 102. And then we've got the 48 of Varis Velots. Bit of action here. Biaggi sideways. Schwartz will capitalise on this. Excellent racing. Into turn number 3, Schwartzy. Very close indeed to the back of Biaggi's Chrysler. Chadwick loses out. Schwartzy's a driver on a mission here this evening. Just watch our leader, Sam Brumfield from McLeod Tyres, Evans Motor Wreckers, Hourglass Jewelers, Gagliardi Racing Motors and KMG Motors, making it look extremely easy. And there's a bit of moisture coming out of this surface. I think it's great that the bikes can run, and the surface was good for them. The open wheelers, i.e. the speed cars, could come out. Now the street stocks, and we've got a racy surface. Biaggi gets a little loose out of 2, and here they come, Chadwick and Schwartzy, both power on by, and Velots will follow suit for Mavis Racing or Willie. No. Was forced to get right out of the bucket. Matthews continues to harass Velots down the main stretch. There's the 88 of Alan Domain. And the 3 of Pierdo. Then we look back to the 117 of Neville Nitschke. And next would appear to be the 104 of Wayne Houston from Murray Bridge. Schwartz in third place at the moment. Commodore versus Commodore as Chadwick nibbles on his rear bumper. Velots now gets a run at Biaggi, who continues to look a little loose as he pitches it in through turns 3 and 4. There's 3 laps remaining, 20.32 seconds from our race leader. Sam Brumfield looking very good. Chadwick now works the top side of the track. Now cuts it down. Good driving. Might have more momentum here in turn number 3. Now the 14 of Rick Trevilian looks as though he's going to slip right back into the clutches of Chadwick here. Schwartzy thought he was going to thread the eye of the needle, but couldn't do it in the end. An ever so slight gap diminished quite quickly. The Cortina up against the Commodore in 3. Trevilian trying to hang on, but Chadwick's got perhaps the more preferred line. Nearly overcooks it. White flag comes out for the 5 of Brunfield. As long as he stays nice and straight, I think he'll get there, but second. Far from decided. A bit of a bobble there from Chadwick. Stephen Schwartz will be liking this back in 4th. He'll be looking to pick up 1 position in the dying stages, but he's gone wide. I don't think he'll do it from there. It's checkered flag time for Sam Brumfield. A top start over Trevilian, Chadwick, Schwartzy, Velots, Biaggi, Matthews. The 88 of Domain from the 117 of Nitschke. And it was Trev Templar. And I only missed a few from there. It was heat number 2. event number 17 on the program. Certainly have rocketed through them. Set for the green flag, which we now get. It's the 9 of Brenton Gibbs throwing it in on the outside line, but it's Welchie who should emerge. A little bit of a tap there between Finlay and the 15 of Jamie Jennings. No love lost between those two out on the circuit. Wesley looks to be in some trouble driving 49. Out they come. Somebody steered it straight into the concrete. It was Ray Ferguson driving the number 50. And we've got one car that refuses to stay in a straight line. Was trying to perform a Mr. Squiggle out there on the terra firma. Let's pick up who it is. It was the 61 of Neville Glasbrook. And I'm sure he'll be hoping to stick to that in through turns 1 and 2. Around they come. Pace begins to quicken. Scott McIntosh waves the green and then hurriedly jumps out of the way. Probably a good move. The way these drivers get stuck into it. Welchie just hip and shouldered one competitor. Trying to pick up who it was. It may have been Brenton Gibbs in the Tirana. But have a look at this. In turns 3 and 4, the Jennings boy, Jamie Jennings, has cut a big pass. Monster pass up the inside. Brian Finlay, I think, now will follow him past Welchie. Or will he? No, not just for the moment. Welchie holds sway in second. So beyond that, we've got the 9 of Brenton Gibbs. Then it's Neil Wesley, and he's battling at the moment with what I thought to be car 62, but I'll get that number. In fact, it's 42, Greg Spriggs. David Harding, he's attempting to roar through the pack, and right in behind him, we appear to have the 47 entry. But out of turn number 4, Welchie very close to the concrete. Jamie Jennings is out in front. Brian Finlay is second. Then it's Welchie over the 9 of Brenton Gibbs. Welchie's gone back through on Finlay, who has drifted very wide. So those two have been swapping and chopping positions almost every lap or so, it appears. As our leader comes around for Affordable Auto Dismantlers, Kerry Jennings Auto Electrical, Peter Jennings Pumps, Country Inspiration and Fisher Signs. He's doing them proud. His Cortina looking good, leading by approximately 75 metres. As he storms down the main stretch, 20.4 seconds. Finlay trades a bit of paint with Robert Welch into turn 1. And what's happened there with Jennings? A big moment. Just managed to recover it in front of the Auto Colour Dulux sign on turn 2. Well, if I didn't know better, you'd almost think that a right rear tyre was starting to deflate. Unless it was just a lapse, or maybe he hit a little bit of a groove and it threw him out of sync. And Brian Finlay's definitely made up some time. There's only about 4 or 5 car lengths in it. And I notice now that the 128 of Anthony Gibbs is charging at Robert Welch like a shower of you-know-what. Down the straight into 1, and the caution lights are on. And they've come out because David Harding is facing in the wrong direction just in front of the Dulux sign. Stewards have deemed that they're already bunched up behind Jamie Jennings. Ready for a crack at him. The Sigma, the Ford, the Commodore and the Tirana. You can see the green's been waved. As soon as our leader passes the orange cone, that's what happens. It's on a rope. And now they drag it out of the way. Look out, someone sideways. A big crunch out of 4. It was Neville Glasbrook in 61. No caution on the Speedway. And there's David Harding now. He's gone back out there. Didn't think he was personally going to restart, but he has done so. Watch for the 128 of Anthony Gibbs. Has been a real charger. Nose to tail stuff as we get the green. This time Jennings goes a little wider, and Finlay chances his arm down low. A couple of them get a little squirrely. Coming out of the 4th turn. Look out. The 49 of Wesley all over the shop. And we've got a change at the front. Brian Finlay has roared through. Jennings gets very taily. I'd have to say it's probably a tyre deflating, because we know Jamie Jennings is normally a very competent peddler. Perhaps they haven't quite got the tyre pressures right, who knows. And you see, once again, it just breaks loose midway through the corner. Once again, Robert Welch is there in third, but here comes Gibbs. He'll look for the run up the inside in turn number 3 region. It's Anthony Gibbs putting the pressure on Robert Welch, very nearly turns it around. And I'd say that's probably all that Gibbs needs here. Now the Tirana of Brenton Gibbs is also in there, currently in 5th. So the Gibbs boys giving Welchie plenty to think about as the checkered comes out, and Brian Finlay will be stoked with that as he gasses it past the line. Jamie Jennings for 2nd spot. And then Anthony Gibbs, driver of the race from 13 to 3rd. Even Dave McNabb would be proud of that one. It's a pretty good drive. And in behind them, I think we had Welchie from an iron of Brenton Gibbs. Finlay comes through once again. A lot of support to his home track, and rightfully so. He's been one of the pace setters here for a couple of years now. Number 4. They're coming around. Green flags at the ready. Those results have just been posted from the previous event. Short delay there, but 36 Brian Finlay has been acknowledged as the winner. A 15 Jamie Jennings 2nd, and 1:28 for that blinder Anthony Gibbs from the Riverland 3rd. The time 1 minute 1.2. The Junior Street Stock Brigade charge their way around turn number 4. Not getting a great deal of lock-to-lock action happening, but the 66 of Brendan Higgs, the senior statesman of this category at 14 years of age, has got the midline happening. Now ducks down to the pole line and will charge down the main stretch, and I'm sure we'll begin to develop a pretty big break. Got the little Mazda performing well. Number 2 of Adam Montague. He's there in the 2nd spot, but feeling a little bit of pressure from Todd Mickey. Yeah, I'd certainly agree with that, David. As we see the white flag coming out. Now around turns 1 and 2, currently at the tail of the pack, we've got Rebecca Gansey driving car number 13, but the real battle here is for spots 2 and 3 on the racetrack. Down the back they go. There's only about 1 or 2 car lengths in it. Junior Street Stocks draw to a close for the first time. 4 laps they went. And the Riverland 66 of Brendan Higgs has sampled the win, the 14-year-old. Then we've got Adam Montague, the 11-year-old. The 78 of Todd Mickey at 12 years of age, with Rebecca Gansey, the 13-year-old. Bill Miller, he's in there somewhere as well. So this is the Super Sedans. Heat number 1 over 10 laps. Track looks good. As they get on the hammer and go racing, it's Vaughan who jumps to the lead, throws it into turn number 1. Well, Steve Stewart won't be too happy about this. He's been outgunned on the start. In through turns 3 and 4, Steve immediately begins to work the outside. This is good sedan racing. The whole field bunched in one group. That's my philosophy as well. Oh, Vaughan sideways. Look out, some drama here. Almost a very bent up looking Pontiac Firebird of Peter Drew. I'm sure he'll be thanking his lucky stars. The Commodore of Graham Cowland and its driver performed a great piece of evasive action. The big black Camaro. We'll see how he goes. There's 10 on the counter, enough laps. Many questions about to be answered as Scott McIntosh holds the green flag in his right hand and gets ready to give it a wave. Away goes Steve Vaughan in the 67 car. Carol Launer in 21 works to the inside line. Cowland moving up. Should be able to get around the outside of Ian Layson. Max Thompson now right in front of him. Our leaders come out of turn number 4. Peter Drew very well placed. Racing under protest flag comes out for Steve Vaughan. I assume because of the fiberglass that has peeled back. Can continue, but will need to have a talk to the officials afterwards. Meanwhile, Drew is rocketed into second. The progress of Steve Stewart. Well, he's passed about 4 cars at the moment, tucking in behind Rocky Caruso. And he's about to go past Max Thompson as Peter Drew hits the front. He's blown past Vaughan down the back. Cowland's gone with him. And here comes Stewart, fired up by what has transpired. Works the outside of Rocky Caruso and says, move aside, pal. I'm coming through into fourth. A more fired up competitor would be pretty hard to find as he blows past Vaughan. Can he carry on and go all the way? Almost rubs the right rear on the concrete. What a magnificent drive it'd be if he can do it. He's catching Cowland. Three of the heavy hitters in this state, Peter Drew, Graham Cowland and Steve Stewart. I'm sure Vaughan's vision's being hampered by that bodywork. Rocky now gets to the inside of him and wheels the Pontiac Trans Am up the inside. Bill Miller will be looking to follow suit. Good driving from Rocky. Controlled stuff through 1 and 2. Graham Cowland tucks right in behind Peter Drew. Drew a bit tentative and here they come. There's still 4 laps remaining here. Plenty of time. Barry Worthley in the Corvette has just been put a lap down. Remember, Drew was involved in that incident, and you can see the bonnet on Stewart's car is lifting as well. So his visibility may be getting hampered, but it's not affecting him. That thing gets around this track so well, and Steve knows the surface and the circuit so well that it's probably not affecting him as much as Vaughan, for example. Cowland a little sideways. Steve forced to get right out of the bucket as Peter Drew for Hancock adjusts wheel alignments. Powers through turns 1 and 2. 1.5 laps remaining. Steve's great charge now appears to have almost come to a halt. The white flag is coming out. Cowland gets a sniff of victory. Hones right in on Drew. Here's a chance for him. Tucks it down on the pole line. Stewart might try and be a hero perhaps with a big outside run in 3 and 4. Now he doesn't. He opts to follow them through. Out of the final corner they come. Peter Drew wins it. Graham Cowland for second. Steve Stewart for third. Rocky Caruso fourth from Bill Miller. And a good sedan field tonight. Very pleasing to see. With Steve Vaughan next from Ian Lace and Max Thompson, Joan Miller and Barry Worthley, Darryl Lowner and Steve Murphy. Notable non-finishers, and I noticed just having a look over there, centre field at Bowen's up on 2, Kipling back to 4. And we are ready for a start. A hang and Mark Brewer of field. There's the way for the green. Adam Baines in 52, very quickly jumps to the lead. Doug Lambert cuts a move on Brett Kipling, but Brett monsters his way back past Dud down the back. In through turns 3 and 4. Bowen cops a heap of understeer. The thing a little tight as Adam Baines continues to go on his merry way. Monk and a hang having a little bit of a joust. Adam Baines down the main chute with 4 remaining. The Baines Performance Engine Slider Machining Services and Platt Paint and Panel. The number 34 of Brett Kipling continues to run in second spot. Then we've got Peter Bowen in 26 and the 5 of Dud Lambert. Next is the 21 of Steve Monk, and in behind him we've got the number 7 driven by Bill Ahane. We saw some tremendous dicing a fortnight ago between Chas Calandro and the 52 of Adam Baines, and I reckon that very shortly if Brett can keep it up, he'll be battling with them. In the handicap feature 2 weeks back, we suspected that it was going to be Adam Baines, Chaz and Brett to fight it out, but I think they all suffered mechanical problems. And you see Brett enjoying himself, really letting it all hang out. That was a good line into turn 1 and 2, fully sideways upon the entrance, looked good. Adam Baines, first to greet the checker, driving the number 52 JSR chassis. There's the 34 of Brett Kipling, having some fun on the dirt with Peter Bowen behind them in third. Dud Lambert, Bill Ahang, and fortunately Stephen Monk will be a non-finisher once again. Over Jamie Jennings in heat number 3. Others to keep an eye on, definitely Maris Velots. And Rick Trevelyan should go pretty well. And of course, David Gartner, the Aussie one. You'll have to keep an eye on him. Finlay goes to the outside immediately. It's underway. I think he's been hung out to dry a little bit. Just struggling for drive. Gartner's gone through. He's turned it around in 3. Some drama here. Somehow they managed to avoid him. More luck than anything. And the 55 looks to have some steering prop this time around. Wouldn't think so. He'll be looking for a strong charge from position number 3 as we get set for 10 laps of Street Stock State Championship action. Brumfield versus Finlay through turns 1 and 2. Brumfield's car takes a turn to the right. Now he gets it back on the straight and narrow as Edwards begins his pursuit of Finlay around turns 3 and 4. Down onto the main chute. Finlay very busy at the wheel as Edwards roars on by. A nice pass there. Brian just struggling. A little slippery coming out of turn number 4 on the wide line. And Maris Falotz has moved up to position 4. So very shortly he'll be chasing Daniel Brumfield for 3rd. Mavis pitches it in. He'll be keeping it nice and tight. Again, Finlay just struggling. Fairly loose. Remember, the track has just been prepared. So in through turns 3 and 4 they come, and out in front it's the 66 of Barry Edwards. Going like a house on fire at the moment. The mobile throughway service station and affordable auto dismantlers, his supporters. Now the 74 is pulled out. That's Daniel Brumfield out of commission. That's bad luck. As we have a look at the order. Now the one of Gartner has fought back valiantly. He's currently in position 4. You can see Mavis up ahead, who is trying extremely hard to catch Finlay firstly, and secondly to get up into second position. Mavis will definitely want those points for second. Finlay always seems to struggle, or at least for this event, coming out of turn number 4, but that was a lot better. Keeps it nice and straight as he approaches turn number 1. And David Gartner, the Aussie champion for Ormerod Crash Repairs. Todd's Shane Wilson Competition Development, Drew's Workshop Supplies. He's hovering back there in 4th, but all the while our race leader Barry Edwards skips off into the distance. Here comes Gartner to the inside of Maris now in turn number 1, but Maris says, no, I don't think so, son. I'm enjoying it here, and in fact Maris gets a run. Perhaps this is the hurry on that he needed. Into turn number 3, Finlay has seen the nose of the Commodore to his left, hugs a tight line out of the final turn, and there are now 3 to go. Maris trying to stave off this Ford Cortina challenge. Also catching them now is the 9 of Brenton Gibbs, who is performing pretty well. 20.49 seconds from our leader. Down they come again. 2nd, 3rd and 4th, Gartner, Valotz, Finlay and Gibbs. And Finlay is on the infield for a moment. Gartner tries to seize the opportunity. Blows by Maris up the inside. Now Maris will be hoping to keep the foot into it and maybe pass him around the outside, but a little too slippery in that area. The white flag comes out. Can Brian Finlay hang on? He took victory in the opening round of heat races, desperately needs to try and hang on for second. Gartner gets a beautiful run. Here he comes into turn number 3. Cyclone Gartner comes at Brian Finlay. Brian drifts off the racing line. Here's the checkered flag. Edwards wins by half a lap. Fine performance from Gartner. Finlay back to 3rd, from Maris 4th. Gibbs into 5th. 6th spot going to the 42 of Greg Spriggs. Made up a fair bit of ground. Did start rear. Ready for racing. Trevor Templar brings them in very slowly indeed. Obviously happy with the punch that he's got from within the motor. And just check out the number 3. Kia Do looks to put a blinder on them in the Tirana. Very experienced driver, and I think he's going to do it. Darren Jobe now battles with Templar. It's getting very willing through turns 3 and 4. Templar heads for the infield. Do is sideways. And as a result, Jobe in 44. It's the front as Schwartzy does some grass cutting too. And the yellow has come out. Oh, there's problems here for the 15 of Jennings. Big problems here. He's got a problem with the radiator hose, or with the radiator itself has dropped a heap of water. You can see it for yourselves on the main stretch, or you may be able to. Depends where you're sitting. Now the 23's not looking too good. Reg Anderson from Murray Bridge, they're surveying that Tirana at the moment. It'll feature the likes of Brian Chadwick. Anthony Gibbs will be there. Darren Flappin's been in pretty good form. Sam Brumfield, Welchie. Okay. Signal's been given. The lights have been flicked. And as a result, we are just about ready to go with the Days Plant Hire, Mitzi Bits, Taps Mechanical, Likey Signs, McCarthy Race Engines, Fig Jam Racing, Trevor Templar on the pole. The lean green should be coming at us around about now. Away they go. Harding moves to the outside. Kia Do's in there. Mark Biaggi in 67. But out in front looks as though it's Darren Jobe in the Mildura 44 car. Schwartzy flies down the back. Fantastic stuff from him. He's confronted with a sideways Trevor Templar. In all sorts of bother. Kia Do sideways. He's battling in that Tirana. But around turns 1 and 2 they go. David Harding and the Mildura Speedster. Darren Jobe into turn number 3. Harding with him. Here comes Schwartzy up the inside. Kia Do outside. It's calculated driving at its best this evening at Speedway City. Down into turn number 1 region. Kia Do into 4th. Behind them Trev Templar, Mark Biaggi not figuring as well in this one as we thought he might. Did start out of 3. But through comes our leader once again. It's Darren Jobe, Mildura 44. He's got a heap of sponsors alongside his name. Wants me to tell you that Darren Andrew, Bricklaying and Paving are his major sponsor, but he's got a lot of support sponsors as well, supporting him in his quest to take out the SA title. The likes of Carline Mufflers of Mildura, Shell Barong, Balloons Alive, Andrews Dry Cleaning and GMP Engine Reconditioners. David Harding driving the number 62 entry is proudly supported by Production Line Auto Parts, Aldinga Crash Repairs and Tech Deloy, and currently runs about 8 car lengths in arrears of the Mildura Flyer. Schwartzy in the Commodore, he's there in 3rd. Kia Do in the Tirana. He's really got it wound up in 4th position. Nice to see, with Biaggi currently rounding out the 5. And it looks as though the 39 of Andrew Clayton is now up into 6th position. Not a bad effort. Started out of 14. He gets a bit sideways down the main stretch in the Commodore. There's Trevor Templar. Now, unfortunately for Trev, has been one to back up. And Alan Matthews and also the 104 of Wayne Houston all over him like a rash as they work the back chute. Now, something worth watching here is Kia Do versus Stephen Schwartz. There's 2.5 laps remaining. Oh, look out. There's a heap of smoke coming from Biaggi 67 car. The Charger is out of the event. That'll hurt him. That'll hurt him big time. 20.91 seconds for our leader. Harding, if anything, beginning to make some ground. Schwartzy continues to try hard. And now Andrew Clayton has moved up to 5th position. White flag comes out for our leader. It's Darren Jobe all the way from Mildura. David Harding begins to stalk him in through turns 1 and 2. You've got the different lines coming into play. Harding's got more momentum. Jobe suffered a little bit. Clipped the infield last time through 1 and 2. Around 3 and 4 they go. The checkered flags are coming out. And Darren Jobe from Mildura just hangs on over a fast finishing David Harding. Stephen Schwartz for third. Kierdo for fourth position. Andrew Clayton will get home for fifth. And in sixth place, maybe Neville Nitschke over Alan Matthews, Trev Templar, and the 104 of Wayne Houston. Green flag at the ready. Don't know whether this will be a start. Don't know what gives me that impression. Ray Ferguson in car number 50. He was only about 5 or 6 car lengths ahead of the rest of them. He's coming up against Garth Raymond, driver of the 52 entry. At your front row, back behind them, Robert Welch. And also the 28, the 128 make that, of Anthony Gibbs. Down through turns 1 and 2 they go. At the moment, it's the 88 of Alan Domain from Murray Bridge that is looking good. And the 128 of Anthony Gibbs begins to move up. Darren Flapman, quick to thread his way through. Chadwick being sandwiched at the moment, but now emerges. And also the 5 car, which has begun well. That's Sam Brumfield from Murray Bridge in the Cortina. Brian Chadwick a bit out of shape down the back. The Cortinas always seem to get around Speedway City well. Got plenty of poke, that's for sure. Flapman looks to go around the outside now of the 128 driven by Anthony Gibbs. If he can keep it nice and straight, should get more momentum up there. Let's see if he can dive through on both of them. He'll give it a go, that's for sure. Coming out of 4, they're 3 wide. Flapman gives Brumfield something to go on with. And now we'll look to take Anthony Gibbs if he can. He stays up high. He's hoping that's the way to go, but now he's steered towards the concrete. A bit of a lapse, and that allows the 44 car to come back. That's David McEwen in the 44 car, by the way. So McEwen up to third, but the pressure is on. Gibbs working hard, in fact, gets a run at Domain down the back. I think he'll get him. Neck and neck as they approach turn number 3, but he's there. For Gibbs Auto Electrical, Evan Ev Loxton, Formula Paints Brenmark, Munns Auto and Marine Loxton, and Rod Tickle Signs. The driver of the 128, Anthony Gibbs, in wonderful shape at the moment. Leads by a couple of car lengths. Behind them we've still got Alan Domain. He's trying to hug a nice consistent pole line and certainly is making it difficult for McEwen. McEwen looks for the inside run. Darren Flapman in 12. He's hovering back in 4th position. And we've got the 5 of Sam Brumfield. Brian Chadwick, perhaps a little further back than you would have anticipated in this one. Admittedly started out of 11. And continues to chase Kevin Lyons, who currently is aboard the Murray Bridge 89 car. Flapman goes for the big outside run. I think he may get both of them here. Domain and McEwen both held up, and he flies past them. Excellent stuff from Flapman. That's good to see. Not content with following them through the corners. McEwen, he was trying to get through on the inside of Domain, but Alan was already hugging a fairly tight line. So Flapman said, hey, I don't care. Don't mind running the top side of the track. I'll give it a burl. And now he's moved right up into 2nd spot. And in fact, he's beginning to catch our leader, I fancy. Anthony Gibbs currently leading by 4 to 5 car lengths. Flapman runs fairly wide, gets a bit taily, but it's all to no avail. There's the checkered flag. Anthony Gibbs the victor, Darren Flapman second. Alan Domain in for 3rd spot over David McEwen. And Sam Brumfield looks to have been the next finisher. That'll be a fairly quick turnaround time for the street stock competitors. They've still got Junior Street Stocks, heat number 2 gets a start. Brenton Higgs in 67 gets away well, but it's number 13, Rebecca Gansey, that really did get the best start of the lot of them. Looking to go around the outside down the backstretch. Some good competition. Todd Mickey's been relegated back to the rear, and here comes Rebecca, giving it everything she's got here. It's excellent to see a big improvement on the opening round of heats, but Brenton Higgs continues to lead it. The Dado in second position of Rebecca, looking good as she exits the second corner. Behind her, we've got the number 2, driven by Adam Montague, and it's Todd Mickey, as I mentioned, currently rounding it out. But can they stop the Higgs boy? That's the big question I pose to you. Brendan, the 14-year-old, is the oldest in the bunch, as I pointed out in the opening round of heats, and he'd be feeling pretty much king of the bunch so far. He's out in front by approximately 100 metres. Here comes the big charge in turn number 3. Adam Montague cuts a big slider on Rebecca Gansey. There's 430 metres of Speedway City dirt remaining. As the field negotiate. Turns 1 and 2. Now making their way down the back and into turn number 3. Todd Mickey, perhaps a chance on Rebecca for third spot. The checkered flag unfurls, and Brendan Higgs will be the winner again. And through comes the number 2 of Adam Montague. And Rebecca Gansey gets in ahead of Todd Mickey, driving car number 78. In the final spot, as we get ready for some more Biff and Barge tin top action, we've gone green. Cowan puts the power down. Miller goes with him. In fact, Bill Miller hooks it up, the better of the 2. Rocky's gone with him into second spot. Rocky looks for the run in 3. Cowland quite prepared to run mid to high line. Nice to see as Rocky gets good drive off the right rear coming out of 4. Round turns 1 and 2. Down the back stretch, Drew well placed, currently in 4th position. Then it's Stephen Murphy and Steve Stewart. What a good lineup here. Drew works Cowland over. The Commodore driver responds the best way he knows how, and that's with hammer down racing. We've got Bill Miller and Rocky almost side by side. A couple of Pontiacs, then the Commodore, another Pontiac of Peter Drew. This is excellent racing. The Super Sedans really turning it on just like they did at the previous meeting. You've got 6 competitors, fairly evenly matched. Steve Stewart now draws up alongside Stephen Murphy and makes the pass in 3. His next target is Graham Cowland. Remember, he couldn't get past Cowland, who really throws it into 1 last time around. Cowland's got the top of the track working, but not quite as well as Steve has mid-track working. And Stewart looks as though he's going to take a leaf out of Graham Cowland's book, the 3 litres. Running pole line stuff. I reckon he figures that if the mid-track appeared to almost be working for Graham Cowland, he might give it a go. This high-speed freight train about to come out of turn number 4. Caruso with a good run this time at Miller in 1, but he cannot execute the pass. Cowland draws up alongside Steve Stewart into 3, won't want to give an inch. He'll try and force Stewart wide. No option here but to go around the outside of them. He's boxed in. Watch him go in turn number 1. He'll keep the boot into it. Rounds up Drew. Can he get Rocky? Well, Peter will fight back in turn number 3. This is brilliant to watch. 2 to go. 16.85 seconds. Stephen Murphy just sitting back a little bit. Perhaps watching, waiting for any of the drivers ahead of him to just make a slight mistake, and I'm sure he'll be there to capitalise. Speaking of which, if Bill Miller doesn't watch himself, they could gobble him up. Here comes Stewart again. Around the outside of Rocky Caruso, he's got him. He'll go for Bill as well. I think he'll get it. Oh, what a magnificent drive. In through turns 3 and 4, he cops some understeer. I don't think they can come back at him. Steve Stewart, a masterful drive. Rocky for second. Graham Cowland third. That is one of the best Super Sedan races I've ever seen. Sedans, well done Steve, once again. We're ready for a start. in event number 27. Heat number 7 of the SA Street Stock Championship. Now the 41 of Brian Chadwick is on it nice and early, as they make their way down the back. Started from pole position, I'm sure a spot that he'd be relishing at the moment, because he's still there down the main stretch. Number 91 of Robert Cropp currently in second. Then we've got Aaron Cave in 24. They are then being followed by David Gartner, the Aussie one who started way back in about 13th. He now applies the pressure to Cave. Exiting turn number 4, the Cortina looks good. I think he'll blow past the Tirana driver. He does, executes it well. And I think he'll go on with the job up against Robert Cropp down the back. Time and turn number 3 will give us the answer. Hugs a beautiful line exiting 4. You can see why he is the Australia one for Todd's Auto Salvage and a stack of other sponsors. David Gartner in very good shape indeed. This will test him. He's giving Brian Chadwick a huge head start, about a dozen car lengths. Coming out of 4 and down the main stretch. The one of Gartner, holding a beautiful line about mid-track and then apexing it coming out, utilising every bit of the racing surface. And we've now got car number 14 beginning to move up. That's Rick Trevelyan. He's battling with Aaron Cave. He's just gone around the outside of him. And behind them, we appear to have the number 62 car, driven by David Harding. Harding also looks for the outside run on Cave down the back. Our leaders continue to go at it. There are 4 remaining, and Gartner clamours all over the rear of Brian Chadwick. For Brian to hang on, it's going to take 3.5 perfect laps. If he gets offline or makes a minor mistake, then I think Gartner will be through and off into the distance here. Not detracting from Brian's ability whatsoever, but you've got the Australian champion right behind you. In fact, he's got an inside line here. He should be able to make the most of it, and he does. Good driving from Gartner. Chadwick aboard the 41 Commodore. Chases him now out of the final turn and down past the control tower. 2 to go. Number 91 of Robert Cropp continues to run in 3rd. Then it's Rick Trevelyan driving 14 from the 24 of Aaron Cave. Next is the 62 of David Harding, and in behind them we've got the number 5 entry of Sam Brumfield. Brumfield comes around, being chased by the 99 of Peter Ware. But around turns 3 and 4, the Australia one, David Gartner. Who's going to stop him tonight? That's the question. Checkered flag waves. Into turn number 1, high, wide and handsome. Brian Chadwick for 2nd position. And 3rd unofficially goes to the 91 of Robert Cropp ahead of Aaron Cave. And either David Harding or Sam Brumfield, with Rick Trevelyan trying to do his best to roll over the finishing line. Reverse now, he's fired it back up again. So we'll cross the line and be awarded points for probably about 8th or 9th position. Be ready for the green this time around. Dud Lambert. Blast into turn number 1. Adam Baines already is through on Brett Kipling. Just watch Brett go. Gets to the inside. Peter Boehm up ahead. They catch him at a rapid rate of knots, but it's Adam Baines who flies past him. Showed good speed there. Great top end speed from his Baines Performance engine. Brett Kipling working hard, now beginning to wring the neck of his motor. Standing on the gas out of turn number 2 and working the backstretch. They're catching Dud Lambert now very quickly. In fact, the laps have been amended. Perhaps the handicap wasn't really appropriate because there's still 5.5 to go and Adam Baines is about to hit the lead. Utilising every bit of the track. No real qualms there. He's gone around mid-track line on Dud Lambert and taken the lead. Brett Kipling in 34. I reckon we'll try and go with him, not giving too much away to Adam Baines. Here goes Brett down into 3, getting right back into the groove. He'll keep the foot into it coming out of the final corner. Dud fights back, but I think Brett will have the upper hand now. Hooks it up out of turn number 2. Here comes the City Dismantler sponsored Peter Bowen, also supported by Kruger Signs. Then it's back to the Slider Machining Services. Baines Performance Engine, Platt Paint and Panel sponsored. JSR chassis driven so superbly by Adam Baines. Got the Nissan motor aboard from memory as they work into turn number 1. Kipling really keeping him honest here. The 5 of Dud Lambert still in third, and Peter Bowen tailing out the pack. 15.85 seconds. Time's quite respectable. They're on their last lap. The gap has remained constant over the last few laps. If anything, Adam now edges out by a couple of car lengths. Down the main stretch. There goes Adam Baines, a polished performance. Adam's turn tonight in the speed car. Tomorrow night, Danny's turn in the big Camaro. The Sea Gasser next door at AIR. The 5 of Dud Lambert finishes in third spot, and the number 26 of Peter Bowen rounds out the field. And in that one, that could prove disastrous for Jennings. Anyway, we've gone green. Let's forget about it for now and get on with the action. It's 5 wide into turn number 1. Schwartzy, hard on the hammer, will come out in front. But the yellow lights are now on. What a pity it didn't come off for Schwartzy. That was a miraculous start. One that I'm sure he would have been bragging about. And out comes the flag, which indicates that he may continue, subject to trouble. This time we've gone green. Balot's down the bottom of the track. Schwartzy looking to go around the outside again. Could be a case of take 2 for Stephen Schwartz. Andrew Clayton on the infield. Very costly indeed. Has dropped him back to last position. Out of the final turn they come, and it's Stephen Schwartz in the lead. Number 66 moves into second. That's the Barry Edwards car. Maris Falotz chases now down the back, but it's Edwards up the inside of Schwartz. Something may have to give here, the pair of them side by side, but it's Schwartzy that hangs on. The Commodore comes up against the Cortina. Round through turns 1 and 2. Schwartzy cops a big bout of understeer, and Edwards cruises by and says, catch you later, pal. Interesting to see whether Stephen can stay with him. And right in behind them, we've got Maris Falotz driving the 48 Commodore. Darren Flapman beginning to come through the field. So too is Robert Welch in the Falcon. That's car number 9, Flapman. Tries to go to the outside. Welchie moves up underneath him. 19.58 seconds. Very quick lap times here from Edwards. Perhaps he is one of the contestants that could serve it right up to Gartner. You'd think that both Schwartz and Edwards, and perhaps even Maris Falotz, may be some of the competitors that could give Gartner a good run for his money. 19.79 seconds from the driver of the Cortina. There's 4.5 laps remaining. Mid-track appears to be the go for the moment. Barry Edwards for Mobile Three-Way Service Station, Affordable Auto Dismantlers. Exits corner number 2. Stephen Schwartz for Schwartz Joinery and Constructions. CDK Auto Dismantlers. Victor Signs, Auto Colour Dulux, Used Tyre Mart, and Super Chev runs second. And it's Maris Falotz. Check these sponsors out. Highlander Crash, City Dismantlers, Modbury Hotel, West Torrens Dyno, All Suburbs Towing, Adelaide Sign Shop, Reservoir Radiators, Spies, Hecker and McLeod Tyres. Big mouthful there. I don't know what's happened over in turns 3 and 4. Andrew Clayton facing in the wrong direction. Now gets back out onto the track. definitely about to go one lap down. Now the white flag comes out for Barry Edwards, a bustling Cortina pilot. He's been silky smooth so far, and it appears as though he's going to add another win to his collection. Already has at least one. Can't remember how he went in the first round of heats, but he certainly took out the second round in his particular race. There he goes, the 66 of Barry Edwards, followed by the 102 of Stephen Schwartz, the 48 of Maris Velots, and a fast finishing Darren Flapman in car number 12 from Robert Welch. Then the 104 of Wayne Houston, the 117 of Neville Nitschke, and the 4. Oh, the officials are going to prove me wrong here. They're going to hang a green on us. Away goes Gibbs in 128. That's an excellent start of the Commodore. And what else is happening as we keep an eagle eye on them through turns 1 and 2. We have yellow on the Speedway. Reach that powdery white line. That's what happens with gone green. The 44 of McEwen jumps away like a bullet from a gun. Oh, top start from him. Timed his run to perfection. And it appears as though he has not infringed. That was just great timing. There's a fair bit of smoke coming out from his Commodore though as he works out of 4. Gets a little bit sideways. Right in behind him is Kevin Lyons in car number 89. Back behind them we appear to have, I was going to say the 42, but I think I got my numbers mixed up there as they work down now deep into turn number 3. Brian Finlay charges around the outside in the Sigma. Well, in fact, it is definitely the 42. That's Greg Spriggs, I do apologise, in third in the Charger. And it's the Falcon of Alan Matthews. Then we look back to Brian Finlay, who's got his hands full as he battles with Alan Domain. To the inside now. The flag goes out, and it looks as though, unfortunately for McEwen's sake, he's going to call it a race. So he's given the flag, the mechanical defect flag, which indicates the driver is to pull to the infield as we continue on. And the 89 of Kevin Lyons, after some very valuable points. Spriggs is there in second spot. A big battle and a spin coming out of turn number 2. The 88 car has gone around. That was Alan Domain, and the caution lights now appear as we go racing. We got the green flag out. The 89 car of Kevin Lyons looking good. Then we've got Greg Spriggs, the Riverland 42 car, the Valiant. Next is the 36 of Brian Finlay, who has done very well indeed after starting from 11. Then we look back to the 88 of Alan Domain. Next in the field is car number 82, which is Danny Cronin. But he's just been shuffled back a couple of positions because the Anthony Gibbs 128 juggernaut continues to gain momentum. He's now up to 5th. Finlay looks for an inside run on Spriggs as they cruise down the main chute. 4 to go. He has got it. And Brian Finlay staking his claim. Wants to get up there as high as he can on the grid for the final. We'll put the stopwatch on him. We've just seen 20.45 from our leader, and he's catching. Finlay definitely catching him. Well, he was. Bit of a moment there as he headed towards the Coca-Cola sign, but he was able to retrieve it. The Charger of Spriggs continues to battle on in third. Now with 2 to go, we look at the Mildura 44 car. That's David Job just going through on the 88 of Alan Domain. And it looks as though the 128 car has passed the pair of them. That's Anthony Gibbs, who has fought back extremely well. Well, here's the white flag. Now Kevin Lyons in 89 doing his utmost to hang on here. Spriggs hasn't given up either in third over the checker. That's how they finish Anthony Gibbs does get up to 4th over David Jobe. Then we look back to the 88 of Domain from car number 10, Craig Shrubsole. And the number 9 car of Brenton Gibbs coming around, along with the 3 stocks in the hands of the starter. And now underway. Let's see what's going to eventuate here. See if somebody can perhaps prevent Brendan Higgs from doing another number on them. Higgsy's been the gun performer in this class, the 14-year-old. Guns his way into turn number 3. He's focused on grabbing the win. Humps and bumps his way out of turn number 4. Now cuts to number 2 of Adam Montague off at the chase, so to speak. There's Todd Mickey. Then we look back to Rebecca Gansey aboard the number 13 Dado. So down the back now through the 3-4 turn, the Northern Arc. Those results, by the way, from the previous event: 89, 36 and 42. 2 minutes 3.1 over 6. So we're looking at a couple of car lengths currently separating first and second. Adam Montague's try as he may just doesn't quite seem to have the pace of our leader Brendan Higgs. And Todd Mickey, well, I'd say he's probably about a dozen car lengths back at the moment from our second place runner Adam. And we noticed that Rebecca not quite exhibiting the same speed. She really had the bit between the teeth last time out, but hasn't quite attacked the track with the same zest, but that'll come with experience, I'm sure. I think it's checkered flag time as well. Brendan Higgs comes through, give him a little bit of a wave. He's enjoyed himself, that's for sure. Adam Montague gets in for second position. Todd Mickey runs third. And Rebecca Gansey should come through now. And across the line is the final finisher. That was Junior Street Stocks. He's had 1 or 2 in the features, like I can recall so far this season, as we get ready for the start, which we now have. Max Thompson sinks the right boot into it. Who's going to emerge? I think Bill Miller will. Peter Drew will go with him. Caruso and Cowan will want to try and stay right with Steve Stewart. Very close in 3. No room for the faint at heart. Drew is blasted by Thompson. But it's Stephen Murphy out in front. The V8 Super Sedans. Rocky Caruso has got through on Steve Stewart. Out to 366 cubic inches. And I must confess, it'd be nice to see some of the South Australians come up against the Victorian boys. I know the Tri-City's already run, but man, they were getting stuck into it at Warrnambool last weekend. Carnage, the likes you've never seen. Drivers pranging into one another, then hitting the concrete at full noise. At one stage, another car was up on the roof of another. In through 1 and 2, Peter Drew rounds up Bill Miller. Precise driving nets him second. Rocky Caruso runs in 4th. Steve Stewart continues on the mid to high line. What can he do? He might be able to get the pair of them. It'll take a big move here. Hooks it up, passes them both. He's loving it up there on the outside. Rocky Caruso's there in 4th. Graham Cowell 5th. Very brave, just getting more and more confident all the time. I know he's been a pace setter ever since he purchased the Camaro, but to run that hard into turn number 1 and to have the setup so perfect, it takes a lot of ability. Steve certainly got that. Mind you, he's got Peter Drew and Stephen Murphy ahead of him. A lap car in the shape of Barry Worthley. It's nose to tail stuff. A couple of Pontiacs and the Camaro is the order of the day, from another Pontiac and a Commodore, then a Pontiac. And then we look back to the 21 of Darryl Lowner. Through turns 1 and 2. 12 and a half laps still remaining. Plenty of time for Steve Stewart. Up the inside of Peter Drew in 3. Oh, he's made contact with Murphy. Drew comes back at him. Oh, rubbing his racing, as the Yanks say. In through turns 1 and 2. There's a bit of ill feeling creeping into the ranks here. They're running hard, these competitors. Stewart comes back at them again in 3. Foot deep into it. Murphy hard on the hammer himself. This is a fantastic race. They're 3 wide out of the second turn. Stewart's done it again. The trademark outside pass. Let's see if he can stay up there. And now, go on with the job. He's out by about, well, 4 car lengths. Yeah, probably 4 now, but it's increasing all the time. It's the fastest way around. Mid-track, definitely the go. Oh, look out. Around goes Caruso. There was a bit of a coming together. Peter Drew originally got sideways, and Rocky, unfortunately, I think, the innocent party, because Graham Cowland was tailing him fairly closely. It looks as though they're going to keep it green. Rocky now, I think he's going to go back out onto the track. Yes, he's back out there as our race leader, Steve Stewart, extends the buffer. Stephen Murphy continues to charge hard in second. And it's Peter Drew driving car number 8. This looks a little tight. Can't seem to break those rear tyres loose. Darryl Lanner and Bill Miller, they're having one heck of a fight, duking it out amongst themselves. Hammer and tongs out of turn number 4, past the pit stand. Lap flag comes out for Max Thompson, but it's too late. Steve's already carved his way past the HQ Monaro of Thompson. The 5 or 6 time state champion, it may even be 6 now. Driver of the Camaro, the Dry Creek Auto Wreckers, West Torrens Dyno and Adelaide Discount Mufflers, pitches the car into one. A real side of concentration he is. When he applies himself, very hard to catch, as all of his fellow competitors can attest to. He's still hauling it into the turns. Real pleasure to watch. A second is not over with. 2.5 laps remain. Stephen Murphy needs to get past Joan Miller swiftly and concisely, and it looks as though he now has done that. Peter Drew will be looking to go past Joan fairly quickly, and so will Graham Cowland, although the latter has just copped some understeer in turn 1, and that will slow him up a bit. The 8 of Peter Drew, the 42 of Cowland. It's checkered flag time. Steve Stewart adds another notch to his already extremely impressive belt. The 74 of Stephen Murphy finishes second. From Drew, from Cowland, from Launer, and Bill Miller. Keeps racking them up. I think he's only been defeated in 1 feature race this season. That's it, folks. Give Steve Stewart a hand, the Master Blaster at Speedway City. It'll take a brave man, a very fast man, to defeat him in a one-on-one contest. In through the grandstand. Give him a bit of a wave as he comes past.
But if you find the same item at a lower price, Sprint Auto Parts will not only...
Then we look back to Darren Flatman and Stephen Schwartz. A couple of real goers and definite chances in this event. Pace car now is off the track, but the amber lights are still on. It'll be next time around. Behind them on the 4th row, we can see the 44 of Darren Jobe there. The 5 of Sam Brumfield. Brumfield has qualified well in 7. And with 20 cars out there, lap traffic definitely will be a factor. It is up to David Gartner. He's top qualified. He's the pole sitter. It's his responsibility to bring them in. And if the field looks good when they hit the wide line, it'll be all go in the 1997 South Australian Street Stock Championship. We're underway. It's a drag race into turn number 1. Schwartzy goes in deep. It's a battle between Gartner and Edwards. One that I think Barry's going to win. Yellows come out. All sorts of shenanigans going on the back chute. The 41 of Chadwick is facing in the wrong direction. Take 2 of the 97 Street Stock South Australian title. And racing. Barry Edwards versus David Gartner in turn number 1. Around they go, but this time it'll be Gartner who leads them down the back. Anthony Gibbs in 1:28. He's working hard. Now the yellow's been pulled once again. Schwartzy was on the infield after coming together, and this time I think he'll be out of the event for good. 5 still on the board. Gartner versus Edwards on the front row. As we're going to start, hopefully it's third time lucky. Into turn number 1. Edwards goes in wide. Gartner will hug the pole line. Should lead it down the back chute. Here comes Edwards. He's got plenty of poke under the bonnet, that's for sure. That thing very fast down the straights. The 1:28 of Anthony Gibbs right up there amongst that. Someone sideways. Look out. Beautiful park, that one. And look out. Is it a demo derby? No, it's not. It's lap number 2 of the Street Stock Championship, of course. I'm not taking a stab at Street Stock competitors for a moment, don't get me wrong, but he's out by probably 1, maybe 2 car lengths on Barry Edwards. Brian Finlay, he'll be going after them with everything he's got here in third. Down the main stretch they travel. Anthony Gibbs, he's currently there in 4th. Behind him it's Brumfield from Chadwick, from Velots, Harding. And then we look back to the number 14 of Rick Trevelyan. Through turns 3 and 4, Brumfield and Chadwick involved in a heated duel as the national champ disappears off into the distance. He's crying out, "Come on fellas, catch me if you can." And so far there is simply no reply. Lap traffic could have a big input on it, as I've already stated. 19.06 seconds. He'll be in the 18s if he can keep this up. Remember, the track is going to come in as the race progresses. Maris Velots, he'll be attempting to seize the opportunity here against Sam Brumfield. The pair of them appear to make contact coming out of 4, and that'll allow David Harding to make up some ground. Anthony Gibbs in 1:28, Brian Finlay driving 36. Commodore versus the Chrysler. Around the 3-4 turn, Brian Chadwick not all that far behind. The beautifully presented Sigma. Brian Finlay should get around the outside of Gibbs here, who has had a big moment. Chadwick will try and go with him. "Excuse me," says Gibbs. Charges back into position 4. Chadwick 5, Brumfield 6, Velots 7, Harding 8, Trevelyan 9, Aaron Cave 10, and Kierdo up to a great 11th position. It really needs a stoppage, you'd feel, to try and improve his position anymore. Now they come again. Gibbs and Finlay continuing to go at it. Trading a bit of pain into one. Heck of a long way to go yet. 19.88 seconds last time around for our leader. David Gartner, the Oz champion. Barry Edwards driving 66. And it's Gibbs driving 128. The 36 of Brian Finlay. The 41 of Brian Chadwick. Then we look back to the 5 of Sam Brumfield. He's being pursued by Maris Velots in 48. Our race leader already is encountering lap traffic. Trevelyan is the first to get by. The next will be Brenton Gibbs. Edwards really needs a super run through traffic if he's going to do anything here. Probably, I wouldn't say his only hope, but if he somehow can gain an advantage through lap traffic, it's going to make his job so much easier. Thick congestion now. Very experienced David Gartner makes his way into turn number 1. Number 128. Anthony Gibbs continues to run in third spot. Then we've got the Battle Royale going on for position number 4, Brian Finlay and Brian Chadwick. Chadwick has the inside running as they come out of turn number 4 and down the main stretch. Then it's Sam Brumfield, Maris Velots, David Harding from Aaron Cave, Kia Doe, then Darren Jobe in Mildura 44, Robert Welch, and the 91 car, which is Robert Crop. Number 9 car out of commission. It's the Victoria 9 of Brenton Gibbs. Looks as though the 89 of Kevin Lyons is out as well. Our race leader continues to carve through the traffic. He's just gone past the number 91 of Robert Crop. Continues to lap, even in traffic at low 20-second pace, 20.1 and 20.2. There has been a spin coming out of the second corner. Let's hope that driver has kept it going and can either reverse back or rejoin the action so it can continue. Yes, the driver is going again. He's selected reverse gear. That's good work. Well, that's unfortunate. That's the 5 of Sam Brumfield. Was up in about, well, 7th or 8th position if the memory serves me correctly. That flag is out as Brian Chadwick, who has now emerged from Brian Finlay, begins to attack the 128 of Anthony Gibbs. Gibbs just puts a lap on Trevilian. Well, I think the 5 of Brumfield has spun once again, and this time the caution lights are on. Just what Kia Doe needed, because the leader was catching him and about to put him a lap down. And this reliability is a big thing as well. Remember, the tyres have got to stay intact. It's a big issue around this demanding circuit. 430 metres around. We've gone green. There are 8 to go. Anthony Gibbs, he's in third with a couple of lap cars between him and the Barry Edwards 66 car, so that'll make it reasonably tough for Gibbs. Then we got Chadwick from Finlay and Velots, so they have spread themselves out quite a bit. Gartner just romping away with this one. 19.25 seconds. Not showing any ill effects from celebrations after capturing the Aussie title at Alice Springs. Just going on with the job here in a tradesman-like manner, not giving his opposition anything to work with. He's got the package. Nice presented car, a strong motor. He knows how to steer the Cortina around, and I cannot see Edwards or anybody else catching him for that matter. It'll definitely take a mechanical problem for him to relinquish this one. On the gas hard with 5 to go, 19.20 seconds. Brian Chadwick's pursuit of Anthony Gibbs continues. The leaders have already come through again, 19.14 seconds. Lapping as quick now as he was on lap number 1 is David Gartner, the 30-year-old farmer from Penola. Barry Edwards, the number 66 car, has tried valiantly, but just hasn't quite had enough to match the Aussie champion. Then it's the 128 of Anthony Gibbs. Brian Chadwick, Brian Finlay trying to mount something here. In 6th spot, we've still got Maris Velots. In 7th, I'd say David Harding. 8th position, maybe Aaron Cave. And that's probably about it. I notice Kia on the infield not taking any further part. But folks, the white flag is about to come out. David Gartner would have seen that as he blasted by, and he'll know that as long as he keeps it nice and straight for the next 3/4 of a lap, he will become the South Australian champion for 97. Get ready to give him a huge cheer as he comes around. David Gartner has done it. Congratulations to Dave and his team. Magnificent job tonight. Barry Edwards performed well for second. Anthony Gibbs unofficially third. And I think Brian Finlay got there for fourth in the final analysis over Brian Chadwick fifth. And Maris Verlots into sixth position. The traditional checkered flag victory lap will ensue here, of course, for David Gartner. So make sure you warm up your hands for him as he comes around. The South Australian champion recently took out the Australian Championship. He's a switched-on competitor, knows what it takes to win these big events. And he's heading down now in through turns 1 and 2. Just to wait for the officials to confirm it. He is the provisional winner, of course. Coming up now has been declared the official winner. Number 1, David Gartner down the back. That's the way. A round of applause for him. He's making his way now down to turn number 3. Be in front of the grandstand, and then he will make it back, of course, and prepare himself for the presentation. Number 66, Barry Edwards, declared the official runner-up. And the 128 of Anthony Gibbs declared the third place getter. Here he comes. A cheer once again, please, for David Gartner, driver of car number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to conduct a very brief presentation to the junior street stock competitors. Councillor Gay Smallwood-Smith, who is a very keen Speedway supporter, is here to conduct that. So please give a big hand to Todd Mickey, Rebecca Gansey, Brendan Higgs and Adam Montague. Well done all. And we've got the trophies here. Of course, the stars off tomorrow. We'll hope to see them in full-blown super sedans down the track. Well done. So thank you very much, boys and girls, for that, and we look forward to seeing you back here at Speedway City. It was good to watch. Some good racing too. We'll just, I think, get perhaps a group photo here if you'd like to squeeze in fairly tight for us. Nice and tight there. That'll be the go for our photographer. All right, now I didn't actually see this posted on the board, but it's the way I saw it cross the line. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the official, or the unofficial, fourth place getter, Brian Finlay. Well done, Brian. I know it was a tough race. Here's a sash for you, sir. And I'm sure you'd like to thank a few people.
Yeah, to all the gang that come out and supported me, including showing me the bits, thanks. My family's terrific, my sponsors, Main North Crash, Sigma City, all suburbs bitumen. McLeod Tyres, Modbury, Adelaide Sign Shop, Reservoir Radiators, they've all been fantastic, and my crew, I just couldn't do this without them. Thanks very much.
Good on you, Brian. If you could please just hang around here for the group photograph. We'll carry on to our third place getter, driver of car 128. Please, a big round of applause for Anthony Gibbs. Well done, Anthony. Good stuff. The sash. Gay presenting the trophy. Well done.
Yeah, I really like to thank all my crew. Without them, I wouldn't be here. They do an excellent job for me. I'd like to thank all of them for coming down. There's too many to name off, so those people know who they are, and thank you very much for all that. Really like to thank my sponsors, especially the old man, Gibbs Watt Electrical in Loxton. The car stays there. Him and my brother work on it all the time for me, so that's very appreciative. And the club for putting the night on, and all the sponsors that made this night what it is now. Thanks.
Good on you, Anthony. If you two would like to just stick around here, please, sir. We'll get the group photograph happening in a moment. I know you're going to give a big cheer for our second place getter, driver of car 66, Barry Edwards. Get the sash, the trophy to go with that. Well done. Top drive.
Just like to thank Speedway City putting the event on, sponsors, Mobile Thruway, Affordable Dismantlers, and crew and all the guys that helped this weekend. Thank you.
Well done, Barry. If you two could just stick around, please, for a moment for the photograph. And to the winner. Let's hear it for the Aussie champion, David Gartner. What a performance. Awesome tonight. There's the sash. And Gay, here's the microphone to make the presentation.
Thank you, Johnny. I think everybody will agree that tonight's racing was absolutely brilliant out here at Speedway City. I know I certainly felt it was, and I think that all the drivers that were here tonight need to be congratulated for putting on such a fantastic show. There's always just one winner, and I think it's wonderful that this young gentleman has proved himself once again. So I would like, on behalf of Speedway City, to present you with this trophy, congratulate you, and also on behalf of the City of Manapara Council, something very special with the name of Manapara on it, because I don't know whether people are aware, but Manapara Council is about to amalgamate with Elizabeth City Council. So this is a real keepsake because it's got the name of Manapara Council on it, and after May this year it will be known as the City of Playford. So congratulations once again.
Yeah, thank you. I'd just like to thank the Speedway City Club here. I'd like to thank all the crews come and help me, Tracy, Andy, the guys that couldn't make it back home, Steve, anyone else. All my sponsors, Ormerod Crash Repairs, Todd's Auto Salvage, Shane Wilson for building me motor. Smithy back in Eden Oak works on the car for me all the time. I come here expecting perhaps my luck was going to run out tonight. I really just can't win another one, surely. It's just I'm on a roll at the moment, and I don't know what you do, but it's happening. And I congratulate the other guys, and thanks everybody.
Well done, Dave. Awesome display that. Guys, if you'd like to just squeeze in amongst the trophy girls to add to the photograph. Of course, we'll go in quite a few of the Speedway publications. It looks as though one of our photographers is going to direct traffic down here. Girls, if you'd just like to squeeze in there in between the guys somewhere. And remember, everybody, Friday nights is Speedway City nights. And we thank you very much for coming out and look forward to seeing you in a fortnight's time. Thank you very much.